If the word creep actually had a face to it, I think you could look at this man's face and I'm going to tell you what he has done and what he's accused of doing is flat out disgusting. It's disturbing. It's one of those things where this is just who he is. And I think that, like I said, it just needs to be punished and it needs to have a permanent punishment. Some viewers may find the following. So let me give you guys a disclaimer about my content before it starts reading automatically. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. In situations like this, I just truly believe that sometimes you may or may not be able to see the signs. You may not be able to find things on a person's criminal record, history, or past, or anything like that. But when you find out, it just has to be punished, and just pray for your children. This is just damn sad. I'm getting this story from nypost.com, so thank y'all for the article. One of the 12-year-old girls allegedly fed a drug-laced mango smoothie by a friend's father during a sleepover, claims the creepy Oregon dad was doing tests, quote unquote, to see if they were conscious while they pretended to be asleep. The child desperately texted a family friend begging for a ride from the Lake Oswego home, saying her friend's 57-year-old dad was making her feel unsafe after he had coerced her and two other girls into drinking the smoothies that he had laced with this thing called benzodiazepine. And I already looked this word up so I knew how to pronounce it beforehand. But I wanted to make sure I got that right because I didn't want to stumble all across it. Just bloop, 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 bloop. Benzodiazepine. If you want to know what benzodiazepine is, it's a depressant that slows the nervous system, according to a probable cause affidavit obtained by the Post. So I'm sleeping and her dad comes down and I'm hugging one of the other girls because she was scared and she kept moving us away from each other, but kept doing tests to make sure that we weren't awake, the unidentified girl wrote in a text. Also, the other girl won't wake up, and she did for like 2 seconds, but she kept her eyes closed and didn't talk. The girl added before the family agreed to pick her up. When the family friend arrived at the home, the girl stood to get her things and was met by a creepy dad, Michael Maiden, M-E-Y-D-E-N, who seemed drunk, quote unquote, and slurred his speech in response to her leaving, but did not try to stop the girl. Meaden turned himself in at the Clackamas County Jail on Wednesday after a grand jury issued an indictment accusing him of multiple felonies and misdemeanors stemming from the August 26th sleepover from hell. The girl also told police that she used a very loud door to retrieve her shoes from the garage while fleeing and became concerned when one of the other girls didn't wake up when she slammed the door. After the girl was brought home by a family friend, she woke her parents, who decided to drive to Meaden's house at 3 a.m. to retrieve the other two girls, the documents says. At the hospital the next day, one of the girls told the Lake Oswego police detective Nicole Palermi she felt hot, woozy, and clumsy, while another child said that she couldn't recall what occurred upon blacking out. One of the other three girls, whose mother said that she is typically a light sleeper, described falling into a thick, deep sleep that she had never experienced before. The same girl was unable to walk upon getting home and had to be carried inside the house, where she was repeatedly asked what happened before the parents decided to take her to the hospital. Police observed that one of the girls walked slowly and used the assistance of her mother for balance. Her eyelids were heavy and she spoke slowly. None of the girls or their families were particularly close with Maiden family or had been at their home before the sleepover, which Maiden had arranged because his then wife's primary language is Japanese. Police have not speculated on a motive. Maiden faces charges including causing another person to ingest a controlled substance and application of a controlled substance to the body of another person. So clearly you guys understand that this man was on a mission to sexually violate all three of these girls and maybe more. So I think that type of thing just needs to be punished, and I think that deserves a life sentence. Even if he didn't get to what he was trying to get to ultimately. Let me know what you guys think. Let me give you the fair usage. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Y'all could do us the biggest favor, just hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. Two easy things you could do to help us out quite a bit. Let's talk about this.
Now to a disturbing story out of Lake Oswego this morning, where a father is accused of drugging three 12-year-old girls at his home during his daughter's sleepover. Fox's Bonnie Silkman is joining us now in studio after looking over court documents. Bonnie, good morning.
Good morning. That's right. A father in Lake Oswego, 57-year-old Michael Maiden, turned himself in this week after being accused of lacing mango smoothies with a drug that's usually used to treat insomnia and panic attacks, and then giving those drinks to three 12-year-old girls at his daughter's sleepover. According to court documents, this all happened in August of last year in Maiden's Lake Oswego home. He's accused of putting the drug benzodiazepine into those smoothies. Court documents say the girls reported feeling groggy, some of them even blacking out. The documents also say that Maiden made repeated visits to the basement where the girls were sleeping, watching them sleep, and at one point even holding his finger under one girl's nose and waving his hand in front of her face to see if she was asleep. Now, one of those girls, according to court documents, managed to stay awake. The girls were sleeping and groggy, some of them of last year in Maiden's Lake Oswego home. He's accused of putting the drug benzodiazepine into those smoothies. Court documents say the girls reported feeling groggy, some of them even blacking out. The documents also say that Maiden made repeated visits to the basement where the girls were sleeping, watching them sleep, and at one point even holding his finger under one girl's nose and waving his hand in front of her face to see if she was asleep. Now, one of those girls, according to court documents, managed to stay awake. She texted her mother just before 2 a.m. saying, quote, "Mom, please pick me up and say I had a family emergency. I don't feel safe. I might not respond, but please come get me. Please, please pick up. Please, please." The documents also say that she then contacted a family friend who picked her up and took her home to wake her parents. And around 3 a.m., two of the other parents of the girls went to the house to get them. Documents say Maiden resisted letting those parents inside at first, telling the parents the girls were asleep. Maiden finally let the parents in, and the girls were taken home. All three girls did test positive for that drug. Maiden,
Benzodiazepine. I'm wondering if they could potentially get a attempted murder charge, because he knew that he mixed it up in their smoothies and gave it to him and knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to basically date rape them. That's what he was trying to do. But that could have killed them. Is it not possible to secure an attempted murder charge? I wish it was.
While pleaded not guilty yesterday, he is facing charges including causing another person to ingest a controlled substance. And according to those court documents, he lives in Vancouver and did pay his bail. We'll keep a close eye on this developing case.
At 4, some disturbing news out of Lake Oswego. Police say a man has been indicted after drugging girls at a sleepover. Authorities say last August, three 12-year-old girls were taken to the hospital after being exposed to an unknown prescription drug while at the sleepover. According to police, 57-year-old Michael Maiden of Lake Oswego, who was the host of the sleepover, was responsible. And Maiden turned himself in yesterday and is now facing multiple charges.
So again, and you just see that smug look on his face. It just make you just want to just wipe it off with a foot or a bat or your hands. that smug look on his face. But I think something like this deserves life in prison. They probably won't be able to get that, but he's done. At least it didn't go any further than what it did go. And just to the parents, be very thankful that this was the most of it and you caught a person before it ended up as bad as it was about to go. So keep those children in your prayers, and keep, even his daughter was there, just so y'all know that was what the sleepover was intended, was for his daughter and her friends. So keep her in your prayers as well, because now she's losing a father probably permanently. So just a really, really sad thing. But let me know what you guys think in the comment sections. That is just disgusting, and I think it needs a life sentence, in my opinion. All right? Thank you.